Hello, everyone, and welcome to Super Podcast Action Committee, episode 168. Andrew Eisen here, along with Zachary Knight. Hello, Zachary.
Hello, everybody. How you doing, Andrew?
I'm on call, and it sucked so far, but other than
Lots of
that,
people,
things are okay. Well, we're doing a big new project, and I didn't QA this one. I was QAing something else, so I take no responsibility for any problems the project runs into, but I still have to fix them because I'm on call.
Yeah. That's always...
Yakuza 5 is December 8th. Cool. Nice that they finally got us. I think it took them to right up to the month it's supposed to come out to tell you what day in the month. Laxter says he wishes Yakuza HD, which was 1 and 2 HD, would come out here. Yeah, so do I. Because Yakuza 1 and 2 are, if you want to buy them on for the PS2, are super duper expensive. I think one of them goes for around $75 and one of them goes for about $130, $150. So very expensive. So it would be nice if they would bring everything over here. And they're doing a remake of 1, which I think is going to be a PS4 game. And of course, the Yakuza series is always trails by like 3 years. I don't know how cost effective it is, but I always figure it's like you oughta, maybe it might be worth looking into, and I know some companies have done this, is putting localization as part of the project scope and budget.
Yeah.
I realize the script changes a lot and you can't really localize it until you have script lock, but starting in on the localization after the game has been out for a few months is, of course, I don't know. Yakuza is a series, as I've mentioned in the past, that it just seems like a no-brainer for the West. I realize it's very cultural, Japan culture specific, but the game is just so damn cool that I watch the trailers. I'm like, just show us that. Show the we love goofy crap like Grand Theft Auto and Saints Row. I mean, I think people would be all over that if they marketed it.
Probably.
So anyway.
So did you see the trailer for the Final Fantasy VII HD remake? They released that today.
No.
No, you didn't.
Wait, is it an HD? So it's the original PS1 game? Just
no, it's the remake.
Oh, okay. No, yeah. I did not. I just saw someone talk about it on Twitter. I didn't realize. So okay, no, I didn't.
Yeah, they actually, and it's a game it has gameplay in it too.
Oh,
so
hey.
it looks really good. You know, it's everything looks nice. It doesn't show a whole lot of battle mechanics. You only get like 5-second snippets here and there of actual battle mechanics, but it does show the characters running around and actually doing the gameplay part of it. A couple of things that bugged me was Cloud was running around the city and he had a sword on his back and there was this constant glint off the blade of his sword. And I'm like, if I have to see that the entire time I play this game, that's going to drive me nuts.
Sounds like J.J. Abrams had his hand in it.
Yeah.
Like, we need a lens flare right off that sword every moment.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
The other thing that really bugs me is that Final Fantasy VII on the PS1, Barrett, the big black guy with the gun for an arm.
Okay.
He always looked like Mr. T in the original one. And, I just always pictured him. If there was a live-action movie, Final Fantasy VII movie, he would be played by Mr. T. But in the HD remake, he looks like a roided-up Wesley Snipes Blade. He's got the...
Whoa. Did we just lose Zachary? Oh, nuts. Let's see if he's... Oh, there you are. You dropped out there for about 20 seconds.
Yeah, I noticed that I had a little glitch there, so I guess I dropped out. But like I was saying, Barrett now looks like Wesley Snipes' Blade instead of Mr. T, and it just doesn't feel right to me. I don't know.
Well, we're arguing in the chat box about localizations, and Matthew says just release it digitally, and I agree. At the very least, I understand that it's more expensive to release to have a physical release,
Yeah.
but I'm digital's fine if I just want to play the game. I would prefer a physical release, but if digital's the only way I can get it, I'm happy with that. And especially with Yakuza 1 and 2 HD, because most of it, now I'm not saying that it's as simple as plug in the text that was in the PS2 versions and call it a day. Obviously there's a little bit more to it, but the majority of the work is done. It wouldn't be that much more work because the localization and translations and menu rejiggering is all done. They may have to redo a HD font set for the menus for English, but most of it, it's not like they have to redo the translation. They might want to, but I mean, it's kind of like the mother games. They're already translated. The translations exist. Just give us the damn games. Let us give you our money.
Yeah, I don't know about that. It's just the disc thing. It costs a lot of money to do physical, manage the inventory, buy back excessive stock that the stores can't sell, all that stuff. That for something that's not going to have a big market, it's probably not worth it. So
Matthew points out, assuming they still have the files, I would be absolutely shocked if that's not archived somewhere. I would be stunned. I would put money down. Considering how recent this is.
Well, Square Enix lost all the source code for the original Kingdom Hearts game. So I wouldn't put it beyond a company, to have to misplace.
I imagine a data miner could probably just crack open the PS2 version and go here.
Well,
but
and
like it's one big text file.
But Karateka, that game, the source code was only found because he was getting ready to toss out a bunch of junk out of his closet, and he was like, "What are these discs? This is the source code." Yeah,
we're talking older games here. Yakuza 1 and 2 are early 2000s, and we're not talking about.
So is Kingdom Hearts.
Well, yeah. I mean, it could happen, but it's really surprising. We lost all of it. I mean, that would be kind of embarrassing. How come you didn't release 1 and 2 HD collection? We lost the translation, and we didn't feel like doing it again.
Yeah, that sounds like excuse territory there.
So I've been playing Metal Gear Solid 5, and very much enjoying it. Great game. Normally when I talk about Metal Gear Solid games, I say they're great as long as they shut up and let you play. And Metal Gear Solid 5, except having quite possibly the worst opening of any video game in the history of video games, for the most part, once you get past the first hour and a half of the game, it pretty much shuts up and lets you play. Now, granted, I've been doing mostly side-op missions because there's no cutscenes in them. They just say, here, go do fun things. And I'm like, great, I'm going to go do fun things. I only do missions when I have no more side ops to do, because occasionally missions will happen and I'll be having fun, and then a cutscene will happen. I'll be, Here we go again. Oh, my God, the opening of this game is the worst thing ever. But the game itself is actually fun. What's amazing about the game is there are a lot of problems with the game, a lot of really weird, wacky design decisions. Yet the game is so fun that even a nitpicker like myself can't really hold that grudge. I just want to geek out about all the cool things in the game rather than focus on the negative. That's how good the good stuff in this game is. Matthew says, have I run into Quiet yet? Yeah, I killed her. Which is something I rather admire about the game. I was wondering if it would let me. Yeah, you can. And she's gone.
Nice.
I imagine there are some missions and side ops later in the game that won't become available because Quiet is dead. But Well, actually, have you run into Quiet yet? You can't start the game without running into Quiet. She's in the opening cutscene,
Yeah.
and she tries to
So
kill you.
so how many times did she model for you in the helicopter before you
0.
killed her
She's never
off?
been in my she's never been in my
Okay.
helicopter. See, you wake up in a hospital, and then Quiet bursts in regular pants and the same thing that every other soldier in the game is wearing. So I guess whatever malady hits her that makes her have to wear her regular getup happens after the opening of the game. So she kills your nurse, she kills your doctor, then she tries to kill you, and you or the other guy, the other patient, um, lights her on fire and throws her out a window or something like that. Um, so, and then later in the game, there is a mission where you first meet Quiet. I think it's mission 11, but I wasn't playing that mission. I was just riding along on my horse, just exploring, having a grand old time. And I unknowingly wandered into the mission area. I wasn't watching the map. And suddenly she shoots me right off my horse and it goes, mission 11. I'm like, what? I was going somewhere. I had things to do. And at this point, I was kind of pissed off because she'd already tried to kill me in the opening, in the prologue, which was the most horrible part of the game. And now she's trying to kill me again. Now, what's interesting is Quiet is the only character in the entire game that I've actually killed. Everyone else I've stunned, sleeped, or kidnapped. With the exception of early in the game when you have to take out tanks and choppers, there's no way to do it except with explosives and ostensibly, I guess you're killing the people who are driving. But other than that, Quiet's the only one I've murdered. And so you get in this sniper battle, and which I was not prepared for. I have a tranquilizer handgun and a beanbag gun. That's it. I had no long range weapons. I had nothing to fight her with. Luckily, a sandstorm popped up, so I ran over to her location as best I could because it was sandstormy. And the sandstorm clears, and I'm looking around for her, and I hear, I'm like, she's humming? That's not very quiet. So I was crouched against this column. It's this valley with a bunch of ruins in it. I'm thinking, oh, I must be right under her. And I'm looking around, I get shot. And I'm like, what the hell? And I look and I spot her halfway across the valley. And I'm thinking, I can hear you humming from 500 meters away. I can see the glint off your scope. You're using a laser sight. You're the worst sniper ever. What's funny is Kaz or the Revolver Ocelot or someone is describing her in one of the. He's talking in yours. There's been reports of this naked person wandering around and sneaks in and kills people and sneaks out and no one ever sees. Have you ever heard of anyone who operates that like that? I'm like, yeah, me. I'm doing it. They're probably talking about me, but no. So, so I called in a supply drop because I said, well, I can't reach her because she doesn't stay in one place. You can't sneak up on her because she constantly moves, and you can't run up on her because she'll run away. So I needed to get a long range weapon. So I go for a supply drop, and they go, and it says, please pick a supply drop location. Where do you want us to drop this? I'm like, right on her damn head. And it worked. And knocked her ass out. And I walk up on it. You have to do that twice. But I walk up on her, and the two guys in my earpiece are saying, you should kill her. And, oh, well, she's like a great sniper. And I don't agree. And, but it's, so maybe we could brainwash her and she could be your buddy and pose for you and then do yoga in the chopper. And I went bang. Because one, she's tried to kill me twice. Two, she's a terrible sniper. I don't need her. So hell with her. I don't know if that's a permanent decision. I imagine I can just replay Mission 11 and not kill her. So I'm not sure if that's completely permanent, but I do admire the fact that you can do that. And besides, I don't need her because I have my dog Dee Dee. And Dee Dee is awesome. because she spots everybody. She does everything that Quiet could do. Quiet, from what I understand, scopes out places and identifies where people are. So does my dog. We run up on a camp, and Dee Dee goes bark, 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 and little icons go bink, 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 bink. I'm like, there they are. So
Nice.
yeah. So I have no idea how Quiet plays as a buddy because I murdered her. You know, and you might say, well, what about the Russians and everyone else in this game that's constantly shooting you? Well, why aren't you killing them? Why Quiet? Well, because, you see, the Russians, I'm sneaking into their place and taking their stuff and kidnapping their guides. So I can understand why they're a little perturbed and start shooting at me. Quiet? I don't know what the hell her beef with me is. I was laying in a hospital bed. I was in a coma for 9 years, not hurting anybody, and she kills my medical staff and then tries to kill me. And then I'm just riding my horse, minding my own damn business, and she shoots at me. That's strike 2, Quiet. You die. So.
Nice.
Fun game, though. Really do enjoy it. Playing it right now. Actually, I'm redoing. I may have mentioned this. I'm redoing IGN's wiki guide, and oh god, was that thing a mess! I finally finished. It took me about 2 weeks to reorganize and reformat the whole thing, but that's all done. Now I just have to
fill it out.
Play through. Well, it's filled out. I just have to play through the game. The only thing that's left really is going through the rest of the missions and side ops and making sure they make sense as written and correct the wording and things like that. I'm about a third of the way through the game, so.
Okay. That's fun.
So that's what I've been doing. Oh, and I played Pokemon Picross, my hair's sticking up. Played Pokemon Picross, the free-to-play game, which is kind of like Sudoku, but with Pokemon. And the game's fun, but it's free-to-play, which means it really, really wants you to give it money. And the game is well designed and fun enough that I'd rather it just be like a $5 or $10 game, because sometimes you just want to sit and play a puzzler. I don't want it constantly begging me for cash. I don't want to constantly be connecting to the eShop to buy more Pika Rats so that I can unlock new areas or things. And it's really frustrating because it awards you Pika Rats, the currency, at like 1 or 2 or 3 at a time. And wow, that is really annoying me. Stay down, hair. And she's like, I just developed a new thing that will let you fight mega evolved Pokemon. Would you like to buy one? It costs 500 Pika Rats. I'm like, come on. It's going to take me 3 months. You might not be able to get through this game without paying at some point, because at some point you run out of ways to earn Pika Rats, I think.
Interesting.
But, the core gameplay itself is actually pretty fun.
That seems to be against typical free to play game design. Usually you can play around all that stuff, play around the paywalls, but
what's interesting about this one is it appears to have a finite amount of money that you can put into it. Because I looked at the store just to see how much Pika Rats cost, and it says after you've purchased 5,000, you don't need to buy anymore. And you can upgrade your energy bar, the thing that regrows in real time so that you can keep playing the game. Once you can upgrade that 5 times, and it says once you've upgraded it to max, you don't need to upgrade it anymore. So it looks like there's a finite amount of money that you can actually put into Pokemon Picross.
Okay, how much would 5,000 rats run you?
$24.99, or actually 4,000 is $24.99. So it looks like it's a $30 game. Which strikes me as a little pricey. Well, of course, I'm cheap anyway. I think any handheld game, I won't pay more than $20 for any handheld game. I don't care if it's Link Between Worlds or what. Not paying more than $20 for a handheld game.
Okay.
Laxter points out that Nintendo free-to-play games are not free to play; they're free to start, which is very true.
Yeah.
No one's, and to be clear, I've never seen any marketing for this game that suggests that I've nothing along the line. Oh, you don't have to pay anything. You could play the whole game if you want. The microtransactions are just a convenience for you. No, it really comes across as you can play here's a taste. If you do have to dump money into this game if you really want to get into it. So that's refreshing. I
Yeah.
still would rather just tell me how much the game costs and I'll decide if I want to buy it or not. That's how I prefer things. So
Okay. Well, sounds like you've been playing some interesting stuff. Me,
most
you
of
know,
the Metal Gear.
yeah. So me, I see all these people playing Fallout 4, and so I was like, you know what? I should play Fallout the original. And,
Oh boy.
and so I've been playing that, and it's actually not too bad. Design wise, it plays a lot like another game from that era that I played in the past. Gene Forge is a game I like, and it plays very similar to how Gene Forge does.
I think you
And
kind of need a history with that style and era of game to really
yeah,
appreciate it these days. Kids today can actually go back and play something like Super Mario Brothers. No one ever has any problem figuring that game out. But kids today, or even adults today, who didn't play stuff like Fallout back in that type of
yeah,
game, today might have a real tough time actually going back and playing things from that era like Fallout,
yeah.
Baldur's Gate, and
Well,
things like that.
yeah. So Baldur's Gate, all that stuff. I grew up with that kind of stuff. So I'm enjoying Fallout. My companions are driving me insane though,
Shoot them.
because they like to shoot me in the head.
Yep.
It's like I'll be standing in a doorway sniping at guys in the room, and my companions will just come up behind me and shoot me in the back of the head because they're trying to shoot the monsters in the room or the bad guys in the room. And it's like, no, stop it. And I got to this one point where I was sniping guys outside of the building they were in. I was just standing at the window and sniping at them. And one of my companions decides that, oh, you're shooting at somebody. Let me walk the entire length of the building to go to the front door and then go inside so I can help you fight that guy. Like, no, just stay right there. I have no control over anything that they do other than to give them suggestions in between battles. It's like things like, maybe you should use your best weapon next time we go into battle, or maybe you should hang back just a little bit. But no, they're constantly getting in my way, and one of them is just super annoying. There's two guys and a dog. The dog is all right, but one of the guys is just completely incompetent, and he drives me insane because he's constantly shooting us, and I really don't like the fact that I miss a lot. I don't know if I just am not proficient in my sniping skills or what, but it's like I'll have a 75% chance of hitting the bad guy in the head, and then I'll miss and shoot my dog instead. It's like, what? So, but story-wise, it's not too bad. I haven't completed the main mission. The main mission is you're in Vault 13. The water filtration system goes out, and you have to get a new controller chip for it. And so the commander of the vault sends you out to go to this other vault to salvage theirs. And you get there, and it's been completely stripped bare by raiders. And so now you have to search the region for a new controller chip. And you can keep playing after that, but I haven't completed the main mission, and so I'm working at that. I think I'm at the area where I actually find the controller chip based on a guide I checked out, because I was completely lost on where to go. But there's lots of little side quests, lots of things that I just haven't been able to do yet, or I never got the option to do them because I didn't have the right stats in order, to get those as my options. And I'm constantly having to restart everything too, because I'm constantly screwing things up. Like there was a hostage situation where you get you go into this room and you're trying to talk the guy down, and I had to redo that thing like 20 times because I guess I had a bad roll of the dice pretty much every time, because he would either shoot the hostage or shoot at me, and so I'd have to restart. So that's fun. But yeah, other than that, it's a really good game. I'm enjoying it. I'm looking forward to finishing it so I can play Fallout 2. And then I got to play these other games too that I have, Planescape Torment and some other stuff. Because I hear lots of good things about Planescape Torment too. Yeah.
Matthew's pointing out that Shadow Complex Remastered is free on PC. Yeah, I saw that, and I downloaded it. And it downloaded the Epic installer launcher thing. I'm like, no. And so connect online, create an account. I'm like, nope, don't want to play it that bad.
Yeah, I saw that on the download page. I was like, yeah, I'm not doing that. So I said, screw it. I'm not getting that game. But speaking of free games, Monument Valley. Yeah, Monument Valley was free on the iPhone this week. I don't know if it's still free or not, or if it's free on Android phones or what. But I saw that and I downloaded it, and it's actually a really, really good and cleverly designed puzzle game. And because it takes place in a world, forget what those optical illusion shapes, where it's like, I forget what they're called.
Stereograms?
I guess. I'd have to look up the term. But, like the...
Are they the pictures you have to kind of cross your eyes at to see a...
No, it's like the... it's like that one cube or square where it's like the inside on one corner is the outside on the other corner, and it
okay,
goes through that. I'd have to look it up. But yeah, it takes place in that, and or like impossible shapes, I guess, is another way to describe them. But it takes place in a world that's designed in that way, and you have to turn sections of the towers or levels and move things in order to line them up and
to get the perspective right. Yeah, there was an Echo something for the PlayStation that was kind of like that. You had to navigate a guy. There'd be two paths like this, but if you moved the camera so that it became a connected path, but they're this far apart, but if from the camera's perspective you altered it like that, he could walk across.
Yeah, exactly. And as Laxter says, it's like the stairs, the infinite stairs that just go around. Yeah, the Escher, stuff. So yeah, everything is like that, and I'm finished 7 worlds so far, and it's actually a really good game. And I remember hearing about it a while back, but this is the first time I've played it, and it's free, so that's probably why I've never got around to playing it before. But yeah, if it's still free, and if you guys have an iPhone, I definitely recommend it. I don't know about the Android version though, if there is one.
Well, before we move to the poll, there's something I saw that I found kind of amusing. Let's see if I can actually screen share something. So it came out that is that picture showing up for you?
Yep, I can see it.
So actually, let me lock onto that. So this is Kiria or someone from what are they called? Shin Megami Tensei Cross Fire Emblem. And on the left is the E3 footage, and you can see that she forgot her pants. And on the right is the most recent trailer in which she has pants kind of painted on. They just kind of slapped a purple color on to give it the. If you look closely, this isn't the most high resolution image. It's kind of a lazy patch job. And
Yeah.
this is not one of those changing the costume for America. The game's not out yet. This is actually a Japanese trailer. So I'm not sure if it's an alternate costume or if they just said, you know what, the no pants looks kind of silly, and I agree. So they put pants on her, which I think could be an improvement, but honestly I think the no pants look, as goofy as it is, has a cohesive design to it that just kind of painting the rest of her purple doesn't.
Yeah, those pants they put on are just, they look out of place.
Well, it's
And
two pieces. You can tell that
yeah,
the stirrup things that are on the outside of her leggings are, it almost looked like she pulled on a pair of cargo shorts over everything else. It just looks. If you're gonna change it, great, because I thought it looked a little goofy. Although
yeah.
not terrible, because hell, pop stars run around in their underwear all the time. But
Mhm.
so some people online were like, "Oh, Nintendo." It's like maybe it's Nintendo, maybe it's Atlas. We don't know. But Nintendo is not okay with women wearing underwear, which I thought was kind of a funny observation, because almost the exact same day, Nintendo entered in a marketing agreement with another clothing manufacturer, and this was the ad: a woman with no pants.
Well, it's a sleep shirt, so you know she sleeps in it. Yeah, so it's acceptable to not wear
No
pants.
pants. No pants. So I don't think Nintendo really has an issue with women not wearing pants.
I like how you name the files "No Pants 1, 2, and 3" and
No pants 1, 2, and 3. That's right. So anyway, just something funny I noticed.
yeah.
Anyway, let us back on Thanksgiving. I ran a goofy little poll saying, "What will you be spending the most time with on Thanksgiving? Video games, family, food, or friends?" And video games won. We only had 34 people vote, but 17 people said video games. 15 people said family. 2 people said food, and no one said friends.
Yeah.
So that
'Cause
may be
nobody
the
has
first
any
poll.
friends.
That may be the first poll where
An option got
an
no vote.
option got 0 votes. So, but it's interesting
Yeah.
that 50% of our votes went to video games, and that I don't have family here, so I was just playing Metal Gear Solid 5 all day.
Yeah.
I bought some chips and dip to treat myself. Um, So the other poll from last week, which I should probably close, where is it? Here it is. So close poll asks, will Dead or Alive Extreme 3 see release outside Japan and Asia? And we had 94 people vote. 45 people said, nope, if you want it, you'll have to import it, which isn't that big of a deal because it has English subtitles. So it's very import friendly. 40 votes, 43% said eventually yes, and 10%, 9 votes, said never heard of it. Which is also not too surprising. If you say name the top 5 fighting franchises, Dead or Alive probably isn't going to be in the list unless you happen to ask someone who's a really
See,
big Dead or
Street
Alive fan.
Fighter, Mortal Kombat, Tekken, Soul Calibur, and that's the extent of what I would consider popular franchises.
I mean, if you did a top 10, it would definitely be in there.
Yeah.
But I'm not saying it's a meritless franchise. It's just not one of the premier fighting franchises. Killer Instinct.
Well,
So Dead or Alive Extreme is a spin-off of that was exclusive to Microsoft's console back in 2002 or 3, somewhere around there. And it actually, I looked up the numbers. It did okay. It actually did better in America than it did in Japan. It came out with a sequel that I think focused less on volleyball and more on just mini games and kind of the dating sim aspects. And that one kind of tanked. Didn't really do well anywhere. And
yeah.
so it's not really too surprising, I don't think, to see Tecmo Koei saying, nah, not really interested in localizing it. At least not at this point, because it's been 10 years since the last entry in the game, although there was a Vita version in 2010 that was kind of a remake port of the second game. And saying, look, it's got English subtitles. If you want it, import it. So the community manager on the Dead or Alive Facebook page said something in not very good English along the lines of, there's a lot of talk about progressive views and the portrayal of women in video games, and we don't want anything to do with that. And so that was fun on the internet for about a week or two. And then, where is it? Tecmo Koei released an official statement saying the comments recently made by an employee regarding Dead or Alive Extreme 3 on the official Dead or Alive Facebook page only reflect that individual's opinion and not the opinion or business strategy of Koei Tecmo Games. The game is still planned for release in Japan and Asia only. Now, I voted it'll probably see a release here eventually.
Yeah. That is a good possibility. Even if it is just a digital release, it'll come out here. It's not one of those franchises that have no market whatsoever outside of Japan, so it would definitely make some money over here.
Again, it did better over here anyway. It's always weird when I go back and I look at the sales numbers and I see a game that isn't being localized today, and I look at the previous entries in the franchise and they all sold better over here. I'm thinking, like I said in my Nintendo "Why Won't You Let Me Give You My Money" video from 4 or so years ago, if it's worth releasing in Japan to sell X number of copies, isn't it worth the expense to release it here to sell 3 or 4 times that? Localization isn't that expensive, is it? So
no, I wouldn't think so.
I do know, but I hope the game gets a release over here, even if it's just a digital download, because I personally know people who, my friend Brian's a huge fan of the Dead or Alive Extreme, that spinoff. So it has its fan base, and for them, I hope it comes over here, because it may not be the most popular thing in the world, but it does have its fans.
Yeah, I would think that a game like Dead or Alive would have a lower localization cost than an RPG, something with tons more dialogue and stuff. So other than the dialogue and the menus, there's really not anything else that needs to be localized. So everything else can stay the same.
And
but still, this game has English subtitles, so
yeah. I don't know if there are DOA body pillows. I'm assuming there are DOA body pillows, and I'd say it's a safe assumption.
I'm sure there's probably an unlicensed third party market full of them. So.
Yeah. So moving on, but staying on the subject of Dead or Alive Extreme 3, HoniePop, and the company behind HoniePop is not HoniePop, it's Honey something, but the developer behind HoniePop, which is that adult match 3 puzzle game / dating sim, was weighed into the whole DOAX is not coming to the States anytime soon, and tweeted Tecmo Koei and said, I'll give you $1 million for the rights to release the game in the States. Scout's honor. And this is interesting for several reasons. Not the least of which is, obviously there's a market for adult games if HoniePop did well enough that this guy can legitimately offer $1 million to localize another game. I think that speaks very highly of the adult games market. So I think, if nothing else, other companies who may want to dabble in that area, I think adult games do have that stigma. Porn bad. But also a lot of adult games just kind of suck. It's kind of like religious games.
Yeah.
We had a story in Game Politics this week about 2 pastors being in characters in some Bible game. And I don't mean that as looking down my nose as it sounds, but I read the description of the game, and it sounds like it's just a multiple choice quiz. And I'm thinking, this is why no one likes Bible games, because they're all kind of terrible and not fun to play.
The same with
some
educational games.
Oh yeah, religious text has wonderful stories in them that you can plumb and make video games out of. No doubt.
Well, even if you did, Telltale style adventure games, out of the Bible stories, that's more entertaining than some of the crap that they have out there. And then you could do some real-time strategy games based on some of the wars that take place in the Old Testament.
Yeah, I understand they want to do an educational type game, but doesn't work. Games still kind of have to be fun or engaging and entertaining in some way.
Yeah, they're just, if a game is boring, it doesn't matter what else you want to do with the game. Nobody's going to play it. And the game has to be fun or engaging in some way. And so...
Matthew says, is it weird that despite all the controversy, I know more women than men that played HoniePop? What controversy? The only controversy on HoniePop I'm aware of is Twitch said, no, you can't stream this game.
Yeah, I'm not aware of any real controversy over it. And what's BOI? I don't get that. He says, Matthew says, if I want a religious game, I would play BOI. I don't know what that means.
But Laxter says, does Dante's Inferno count as a religious game? In some ways, yeah. It's based on a mythology. But,
well, it's based off of the Divine Comedy, which isn't
which is not a religion. I mean, it's got religious elements to it, but it's not.
Oh, but Matthew and Laxter
Binding of Isaac.
Say the Binding of Isaac is BOI. So.
Oh, okay, sure.
Okay, and Binding of Isaac is more of a satire of religion. Or at least roost extremism in the Bible Belt, I guess is how you would describe it. But yeah,
the apocalypse characters. That's really loosely based, but
some games Dante's Inferno. Dante's Inferno is very loosely based on the Divine Comedy. Mm-hmm. Yeah, the main thing is Dante's Inferno goes through the 9 levels of hell, but that's only like half the book. There's so much more about the book, about the levels of purgatory, the levels that get you to heaven, and all that stuff too. And Dante's Inferno doesn't touch on any of that. It's just here's the level where politicians go. It's like, okay, here's where the prostitutes go. It's like, okay, yeah, that's where that's about as deep as they go into.
Controversy over that game was the
marketing campaign.
Yeah. No one has a problem with the stupid game. it's the tacky marketing.
Yeah, but yeah, looking at educational games, you can always point to a handful of games that you fondly remember. Things like Oregon Trail, and I'm kind of drawing a blank on anything else. Number Munchers, yeah, that's another one. Math Blaster. You can remember these games that you can remember and you think fondly of. But with religious games, I can't think of any of them. I haven't played
the real big religious games
I
can think of are stuff like Bible stories, and those are just mocked because they're terrible. Kerbal Space Program is best educational game. I need to play that.
There we go. There's another good educational one.
Mm-hmm.
Is Euro Truck Simulator an educational game?
Yes, do not drive trucks in Europe. Okay, moving on.
Yeah, we're getting off topic on that one.
The Game Awards were Thursday night, I think. And
I don't know. I slept through them, and I haven't.
I didn't watch them. I was at work. And
Yeah, I didn't
not
watch them,
and
I
no one I
haven't.
saw actually did really a live blog or a recap. I saw some of the news come out of it, like Batman has a Telltale game, or Telltale's making a Batman game, and I was like, ooh, that's kind of interesting. That might actually be good. And then I remembered, no, that's probably going to be really boring, like the rest of Telltale's
I don't
games.
know if they make it
If they
an
put
actual
any gameplay in it, it will be great.
if it's a detective adventure, yeah, I think that would actually be cool.
I think
you had
a Batman adventure game, point and click adventure game, would be great. But
yeah, because you have Arkham, you have the Arkham series, which is the action side of Batman, but we don't have a real, honest detective side of Batman game. And but personally, I would rather see the Question as the main protagonist of a game like that, because the Question is awesome. If you've ever seen animated TV shows, the Question is one of the best characters in Ultimate Justice League, I think is what it was called, or Justice League Unlimited. Yeah.
Right.
So definitely one of the best
Jeffrey Combs
characters.
that did the voice for him too, if I'm remembering correctly.
Yeah.
So a couple other things. Splatoon won best multiplayer game, which was kind of surprising. It beat out Call of Duty, Assassin's Creed, and Rise of the Tomb Raider. Maybe Rise.
Yeah, and
surprising.
Rocket League won best indie game.
Yeah, beating out Undertale, which I know some people are kind of sore about, but that's a tough call right there. Reggie Fils-Aimé, President of Nintendo of America, had a very nice tribute to Satoru Iwata, who passed away in June, I think. What I kind of got a chuckle out of is as I watched a recording of that, and I did predictions for the Nintendo Direct a few weeks ago, and I predicted a tribute to Iwata, and I described it saying that the tear-jerky music and the slow motion and the black and white, and I had it exactly right. I just had the wrong event. It wasn't at the Nintendo Direct. It was at the Game Awards. But it was a really lovely tribute and very nicely said.
Yeah.
But the thing that probably the biggest news story, at least the one I wrote up for Game Politics, was Metal Gear Solid 5: The Phantom Pain. Good game. Won best action game, and accepting the award was Kiefer Sutherland, who does the voice of Snake, or Big Boss, or whoever you want to call him. I call him Jerry. And Kiefer voiced the 5 or 6 lines that he actually has in the game. So far, it's amazing how many he just kind of stands there and looks at you. Really not many lines. Anyway, so Kiefer accepted it on behalf of Hideo Kojima, who was not there. And I think I will just read Jeff Keighley, the organizer and host, his comments, which he said live on the show in front of the audience. He said this: "As you noticed, Hideo Kojima is not here with us tonight, and I want to tell you a little about that. Mr. Kojima had every intention of being with us tonight, but unfortunately he was informed by a lawyer representing Konami just recently that he would not be allowed to travel to tonight's award ceremony to accept any awards." And at this point, the audience started booing. Keighley continued, he says, "He's still under an employment contract, and it's disappointing, and it's inconceivable to me that an artist like Hideo would not be allowed to come here and celebrate with his peers and fellow teammates." And then he introduced Stephanie Justin, who's the motion and voice actor for Quiet, and she performed Quiet's theme from the Metal Gear Solid 5 soundtrack as a say, "Hi Hideo, we're thinking of you." And what I learned a little bit later was Kojima was not at that night's PlayStation Awards either, apparently because he was barred from attending those too. And Metal Gear Solid won the User's Choice and the Platinum Prize, and they were received and accepted by the head of Konami PR. So,
yeah,
well done,
it's kind
Konami.
of sad.
Man,
It's kind of sad when a PR rep gets to accept the award, but the creative genius does not. That would be like
Or anyone else on the
like
team.
Steven Spielberg winning an award, but not being allowed to accept the award, and Sony instead sends their head of PR. It's like, what?
Even if you got the gopher who brought coffee and pizza every day, I mean, at least that person had something to do. Anyone on the development team would have been fine, but man, there are things going on behind the scenes that we don't know. I'm sure of this, but oh man, this does not paint Konami in a very good light.
No,
I don't know what Konami. Man, head of PR, how do you have a job? Do you not understand that everyone thinks you're horrible now? The company, nobody likes Konami.
Yeah, the whole company. I wonder what his employment contract entails. If he's still under an employment contract, I wonder what that entails at this point. Because apparently Konami is not making real video games anymore. Is he just designing pachinko machines now?
As far as I know, from what I understand, from what I've heard, and I would not be in the know, but it's just he's not working there. He's just under a no compete for however many months. But I still don't understand why. Man, they must have. Did Kojima sleep with someone's wife? I mean, jeez. But I mean, he must have run over the president of Konami's dog or something. And he's like, screw this guy. I don't care how bad the company looks.
But all that said, if he actually is not working there, I can understand why Konami would not want him accepting an award on their behalf, because he's technically not an employee, and doing so would make people believe that he is still there and representative
designer on stage, or anybody.
Yeah. Yeah, somebody.
Not the head of PR. The embodiment of what everyone feels is wrong with Konami at this point. That's like the single worst. One of Konami's janitorial staff probably would have been an easier pill to swallow than the head of PR.
Yeah, but on a more general note, somebody I follow on Twitter, I'm gonna. Zaboid Games is the company, the indie developer that he founded, but he was talking about the awards and the video game awards, and he had some really interesting things to say about it. His big gripe was the award should take place after the year is over, so that every game has an equal footing, because a lot of December releases may get overlooked,
like Xenoblade Chronicles X, for example.
Yeah, because nobody had a chance to experience that game before voting on it.
Well, yeah, I get most of us the press got the game about a month ago.
Yeah.
I could have, but I did not want to do the guide for that game. So I was like, no. Like, you want to rewrite Metal Gear Solid 5's wiki? I said, sure, I'll do that. I'm not doing the guide for Xenoblade.
Yeah. Another one of his gripes was expanding the jury pool. He felt that the jury pool was too small for the type of award show it should be.
As in sheer numbers?
And, as in sheer numbers.
Like, it should be more than the 30 or so people it was.
Well, I think the main jury was only like 20.
I think the main jury was 30, and then there were like 10 advisors and 10 esports advisors or something.
Something like that, yeah. But yeah, he had a few other things. I was looking for his account, but I can't find it now, and I don't remember how to spell it. But yeah, there's a lot of things that are a big deal, and I think the big thing is it does need to be moved. Out of December into January at the earliest. Just like the Oscars and the Academy Awards, are those the same thing? I always forget.
Have them in March, yeah. And piggyback off of the other awards push.
Yeah.
Because people are excited for the Oscars and whatever other award shows are around then. And yeah, it's fine. And I mean, it's interesting. Use the arbitrary holiday dates that everyone gets all their games out by Christmas. So use that fact to your advantage, and the fact that there's nothing in January, so you have plenty of times to look back at all the games. And then on the other hand, it does help that when you cast your votes for in early November, you're not influenced by as much by the big holiday rush of games. You have a more clear head and broader picture of the preceding year, of the previous year. So there, I could go either way. I really don't care about the Game Awards, or awards in general.
But Laxter points out that it could be that the publishers want it in December so that they could market their holiday season games, and that's another big thing because they do a lot of trailers and advertisements.
Too late to really put it on the box, but yeah.
So, but they do market. They do trailers. They do previews and game announcements and stuff like that. Because we had the Psychonauts 2.
Mm-hmm.
And just coincidence, I don't remember. But a number of games were announced and displayed there, and so games that hadn't been released yet.
I was led to believe there would be Nintendo news, but as far as I know, the only thing there was the Iwata tribute, which was lovely, but I wanted Zelda stuff. Matthew points out that Witcher 3 came out earlier this year. It's a good point. If the Game Awards were held in March, would anyone remember The Witcher 3? Which I think won Game of the Year, didn't it?
Yeah, that one won Game of the Year, now that you mention it.
So, and well-deserved from what I hear. So, kudos.
Headline that just popped up on Twitter: Uncharted 4 designer stands by having white actor voice black character. So,
but
standing for their decision. So apparently they chose a white actor to voice a black character, and the designer is standing by that decision.
Okay.
Well, at least they have a conviction.
Yeah. If you tell me that this is the absolute right person to voice this character, great.
Yep.
Even I don't know.
They've had
what character are we talking about in what game?
I don't know. Uncharted 4. So I don't know the character at all.
Well, it's Nolan North. He does the voice of all the male cast.
He does everybody.
Yeah, Nolan can't.
No, I think it's
white. He's just the guy who voices guys in video games.
Yeah, he voices everybody. He actually voices all the women too. He's just that good of a voice actor. So
I think he ADRs all the Hollywood actors too.
Yeah.
Okay, that's enough out of us. I actually have to go to work. So hey, we kept the show to an hour. So let's plug our stuff and scoot daddle out of here. Andrew Eisen here. Eisen is how you spell the last name. Plug it into YouTube and you'll find all my silly videos, including I am now posting all the footage from the Extra Life charity marathon I did in early November. So if you missed it and you would, for some reason, like to watch all 24, well, it's like 23 hours, and I took breaks and there was some technical issues, so it's probably 22 hours and 40 minutes or something. But I play Geist, Ghost Possession, fun first-person shooter from the GameCube. Winback I couldn't get working. It stuttered something fierce, so I played Second Sight, which is a another kind of supernatural game from the GameCube. It's from Free Radical, the guys who did the Time Splitter games. I remember loving the game, but while I was playing it on the stream, I hated the hell out of it. Only played about 2.5 hours. I'm like, what did I ever see in this game? It sucks. Then I switched to Piano 3, which is one of the infamous Capcom 5. Which is a game I was wondering if, since Second Sight didn't hold up for me, if Piano 3 would, and it really did. I really enjoyed that game. And then closed out the show with Sakura Wars, So Long My Love, which was a ton of fun. It's a dating sim with where you all the dating sim stuff is interrupted by let's jump in giant mechs and have a real-time strategy battle or a turn-based strategy battle. It's from the same developers that did Skies of Arcadia and Valkyria Chronicles, and I am the captain in training, which is a joke that you'd enjoy if you watched hours and hours of the stream. So find all that at Andrew Eisen on Twitter, and Andrew Eisen YouTube is the name of the Facebook page. So there's all my stuff. Zachary, plug away.
All right, and you can follow me on Twitter at Easy Night, and I had some words to say about Superman versus Batman on there if you want to check those out.
Oh yeah.
Yep. And you can also follow my game development work. It's DK_gaming on Twitter and DivineKnightGaming.com. And if you're interested in the Oklahoma game development scene, you can check out OKGameDev.com and OKGameDevs on Twitter. And, various other things, randomtower.com and rustyoutlook.com for some other interesting stuff that I write. So there you go.
Man, if I didn't have to go back to work, I'd spend another 20 minutes talking about Batman versus Superman.
Oh yeah, so would I.
Oh, do I have thoughts? Anyway, maybe next week. So thank you all for good to be back. We'll be back next week. Have a wonderful week. In the meantime, email us at superpackpodcast@gmail.com. Follow us on Twitter at superpackpodcast. Subscribe and rate us on iTunes whenever we get back there. I'll bug James again. And like us on Facebook. So take care, all. See you next week.
All right. See ya.